What's going on, YouTube people? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you a little trick that can help you to sign new gen players right at the start of a brand new saved game. Now, why would that be important, you ask? Well, if like me you like managing in the lower leagues, certainly in the UK such as England, and you want to start off a game in the Vanarama National League or in League 2, you might struggle initially to buy players because you don't have a budget, or you might have to sell some of your best players to fund transfers. Wow, there is a way that you can build your squad without spending a single penny. None of the players I'm about to show you will actually play in England, but none of them will require a work permit. Now, there is a little loophole in this where all the players that you're about to see will have a second nationality. Now, it's important because that means that when you sign them from their clubs, they won't need work permits. They can come straight into your team and you can develop them, and whether you need to sell them on for funds or you want to try and build yourself a team if you've got a youth challenge, every single one of these players will be eligible to play for you and be moved on to make your club a profit. Ready to see what the trick is? I'm going to show you two different methods that you can do this. Both of them will involve the MLS. So let's go into the game and show you exactly what I am talking about. So from the main screen, if you hit start a new game, go to career, and obviously we've got the 23.4 update database. Go to advanced setup, and when the leagues first load, what we're going to want to do is just disable every other league apart from the English leagues. Now obviously you can go down as far as the National League and above, that won't make a difference. What you want to do is add or remove leagues, and then simply add on the USA, and you can add on Canada if you want. This trick will work in Canada too. When you press confirm, you can see that we've got the Canadian Premier League and Major League Soccer added on. Then I normally play with the first transfer window activity off, so disable that for myself. I've got a large database set up. I do believe this works with smaller databases, but I always play with a large database anyway. And then you're going to want to start off the season in the normal early 22-23 pre-season in England. So I'm about to jump into game and I'll continue to talk you through what you'll do next. So once you're in the game, for this example, I have picked Bradford City. They are currently in Sky Bet League 2. As I said, this does work for teams lower than this too. But the first method is all about the scouting tab. So if we go over to the scouting, it's going to focus on the scouting range. Now I've picked Bradford because obviously they can currently afford the £52,500 it costs for the surrounding divisions package. But this is where we're going to take advantage of another little loophole in Football Manager. If we hit the down arrow to bring the drop down, we can see that actually Bradford can afford the top package. Now the loophole in Football Manager is that if you come into this screen, change your packages, you can just go through, do your searches, and then come back and change the package back. So you'll actually be able to do this search and not be charged for the package as long as you change it back. So for the purposes of this, we're going to select the big package. It will tell you you are selecting the big package, and we can now see that it has changed the scouting range to world. The next thing we need to do is go to players in range, and from the get-go there are 6,136 players found in range. What we need to do is narrow that down. So hit new search, go to contract status, and go to expired. Go to add condition, general, and you can select second nationality. Now this will automatically filter them for players that have a second nationality that is English. So at the start of the game, when I loaded up the databases, you'll remember that I actually picked Canada and the United States of America. Now the reason for loading up the USA is that with the MLS it actually loads in the regional and national teams too, and that means you're going to get players like these available at the start of your game. You can see some of them are 18, 19 year olds. There's a few 17-year-olds, but the thing you should notice is they are playing for odd teams that you probably would not have heard of. There's a goalkeeper who plays for Nona FC, there's Treasure Coast, OVF Alliance, Texas United, Flint City Bucks. You get the picture. Now, the thing to bear in mind here is that all of these players are playing for regional teams. They are obviously not going to be the next Cristiano Ronaldo, but when you're in League 2 or the National League, that's not what you're looking for. The purpose of this is to find players to be able to bulk your squad out at the start, or to build your youth development if that's the path you're going to go down. So, for example, here, all of the players 21 and under will be eligible to be put in your under 21s. You can develop them. If you're short of cash, you can just move them on at your will and try and get something back for them. If we go through some of the players and just show you what you are looking at. So, for example, this is a left winger. He is a start of the game Newgen who plays at Ann Arbor. He's 18 years old, 5'7", and okay, he doesn't look like a world beater, but you can already see that there are teams interested, and it's San Jose too. But if you wanted to go in and pinch him, you can just go to contract and approach to sign because he's on an amateur deal. If we go back and have a little look at somebody else, say for example you wanted a left back, Peter Austin, he's playing for Texas United. Again, not a world beater, 21, he's probably not going to develop into something better. So you need to look at the players who are 17. For example, Joe May plays for Reading United. And here we have a player who, again, is not going to be the best in the world, but at the age of 17, he has far more development scope than a player who of 21. He's going to be a free transfer, doesn't require a work permit, and if it doesn't work out, you're going to get to move him on for absolutely nothing. So that is method one. Not a lot of legwork. You are going to have to go through these players here and find which ones you want to sign, or if you've got a youth development save that you've got going on, you can sign all of these players. And as I said, if you're short of cash, sign them, develop them, sell them on. In the long term, you are not going to lose anything by signing a bunch of American 17, 18 and 19-year-olds. So that's method one covered, and that's how you're going to find them through this method. Let's change and show you method number two. For method number two, you're going to have to put in a little bit more work. If you've picked one of those clubs who cannot afford the World Scouting Package, you can still find and take advantage of the start of game Newgens. You are going to have to source them yourself and go the long way around. But let's get into how you will do that. So we're going to start off here on the Bradford City info page. Go up to the top and select the world. From here it will bring a drop down. Europe is selected as default because that is where your current club is. But you can click on North America, which will load up all of the nations. Scroll to the bottom, pick United States. In the background, you'll see that Christian Pulisic pops up. This is the USA profile page. From here, go up to clubs, go to list. And what this will do now is show you every single club that plays in the United States. Now, this is one of the reasons it's important to load the MLS into your database if you want to take advantage of this, because not only does it load up the continental and national teams from the Major League Soccer League, it will also load up all of the academies. It will load up the feeder clubs from both national and regional. You can even go further than that to local clubs, and you can just click and go through the clubs to find the players that you want. That is the reason it's a little bit more long-winded. However, I can give you one tip. From these clubs, there are hardly going to be any players in the national or above. For example, if we go to Syracuse Pulse, we can see that they have a key player, that is Daniel Gagliardi. He is a real-life player in the database, and that means that they do not generate the start of game Newgens. However, if we go a few clubs down into the regional clubs and pick one that isn't an academy, for example, Solar, we can see that their key player is a 16-year-old promising midfielder called Brian Arnaud. And when we go into the players, hit the under 18s, we now have an entire squad of Newgens that we can go and scout and sift through to try and find players with second nationality. Now, you could go about it where you just click every single player and you go into overview and you go into information and it will tell you this goalkeeper has a Polish second nationality and an American first, and that means that he can go and play in Poland. However, there is an easier way to do this, and it involves custom views. So from here, we go into this box where it says players, copy of general info. I'm using the OPZ Blackout Elite skin. If you're on the default skin, it may be slightly different, but normally this is where you look at your views. So click where mine says copy of general info, and then go to custom, customize current view. And from here, you can add things to your view to give you as much information as you need. If we scroll all the way down into the S's, we can find second nationality is part of the list. Highlight that, click add, click OK, and it will pop up on the end of your view. Now, mine is quite wide, I'm not too sure why, but here we can now see that these players at the club do have second nationalities, but none of them are the ones we are looking for. So if we go back and check out another club, Dallas Texans for example, go to players, under 18s, they don't actually have any players. If we go to Long Island, they have a player who is actual player, which means they don't have any Newgens. And this is why I said it's long-winded, because finding the players might turn out to be a bit tricky. So Danny Galloway is their key player. If we go to their under 18s, we can see they have players that are from Trinidad, Greece, Ghana and Brazil. San Antonio Academy maybe. If we go into there, we find players with Mexico, Ghana, Salvador, Colombia and Cape Verde. And this is why it is now trial and error. You have to go through the teams, try and find these players themselves. So Nigeria, Mexico and Gibraltar is an interesting one. Sporting California, they don't have players. You can normally tell here they have the Arsenal badge as their actual club logo. Ventura County, they have actual player, but they do have regens or Newgens, and we can find one here from Ireland for example. So Rory Walker, he is a striker, he has 15 finishing, he doesn't have terrible pace with 10, 12 acceleration, he has 12 determination. He's a player that might actually be worth looking at just 19 years old. So contract approach to sign, again, an amateur contract means you can just go in and pick them up, add them to your team, start developing them and move them on. Like you can see though, it is far more long-winded to go through this method, because there are literally hundreds and hundreds of clubs that you can go through, hundreds and hundreds of players to select, and sifting them all out really is made a lot simpler by using that custom view. This will work with all of the home nations, so you can go through England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, Northern Ireland. It will bring everybody up, and obviously Ireland will still get the work permit because they're classed as a home nation, even though they are not part of the UK. But you know what I mean. Ireland will work because you can sign Irish players and they are not deemed to be foreign players. So that is how you go about taking advantage of the start of game second nationality Newgens, players that you can get to the club, you can develop and move on, or you can just use them going forwards as part of your saves. I have used some in some interesting saves, and some of them turn out to be really good. Others you can sell on for money. It really is a no-brainer to just go out and add players from the database for free, just to see what happens. If you are a lower league team who need players, it's an absolute non-brainer. Right then, if you're still with me at this point of the video, firstly, a big thank you. Secondly, if you don't mind hitting that like and subscribe button to help the channel out, I really do appreciate it. All the support has been absolutely crazy. Not too sure what's going on with YouTube and its algorithms and stuff. the numbers seem to be a bit all over the place at the moment, so everybody who is supporting the channel, I really cannot thank you enough. Before you go, don't forget there's other things on the channel, other hints, tips, there are tutorials, there are wonder kids, there are let's plays, tactics, a little bit of something for everybody on the channel. But for this one, I'm going to leave it there. Big thank you for watching. Good luck signing your second nationality regens. I'll see you on another video very soon.